already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. What go on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building. We're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 14, chapter 2, Renew. Okay. It says the Grenada experience continues as the women go to a waterfall experience and a cooking class with some eye candy. The ladies meet the prime minister, but the joyous occasion is met with tension between Shamea and Brit. All right. So, I want to know, based on the episode last night, whose side you're on. Are you team Shamea? Are you team Brit in this instance? If you happen to catch the episode, okay? If you happen to catch the episode, let us know if you are team Shamea or are you team Brit. And tell us why. You know, we'll get into what we're rating the episode in just 1 second. But I did want to point you guys to the direction of Tamar Braxton. All right. So while the BET Awards are going on, all of the stars are sitting down and they are doing the interviews, y'all. They are doing the interviews. And so Tamar has surprised us all and apologized to Loni Love.
Surprise, surprise.
Tamar also cites her healing journey as part of the reason why she is choosing to apologize.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Tamar on a healing journey?
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Girl, you have been healing since I don't know when. Woo! 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 I mean, you know, we all healing. You know what I'm saying? So let me not judge her healing journey. But girl, like when you sat up there and called that woman Big Back Cadillac, I mean, you definitely said it with your chesticles, baby. You said it with your chesticles hanging out like Brit'S, okay, on the table. So for me, I'm like, I figured at some point in time she was going to, walk it back, walk it back, walk it back, walk it out, walk it out, walk it out, walk it back, walk it back. Because it was so unnecessary. And in this interview, I'm happy to see that she is basically saying she apparently reached out to Loni Love after calling her Big Back Cadillac. And she ended up running into Loni Love, or at least seeing her, and she waved at Loni Love, and Loni Love paid her dusticles. And Tamar says, well, that's fine. You know, everybody has their own time that they are going to, you know, choose to move forward, but she's choosing to move forward. Convenient. Because she says that was an incident in time. Okay, an incident in time. You know, again, this is one of those situations where it's like, this could be easily avoided. Easily avoided. Like, and it's such a shame that, you know, we're not talking about her. Oh, it was Mr. Jerome Trammell who says, Mama's been on this healing journey since the start of the Braxtons. And she's still at the entrance. Okay. You have to put in the work and walk it. You can't sit up on this internet and call somebody Big Back Cadillac. And then expect them to be okay with it. Like, It would have been one thing if you said, no, I still got beef with Loni. That's one thing, right? That is absolutely one thing. And if she still did have beef with Loni, then that's fair, right? I can't tell somebody when to be over something or when to not be in their feelings about it. But I think to go on the Nene Leakes talk show and then call the woman Big Back Cadillac, why would you do that? I mean, because now you're calling her names and you're talking about her size, essentially. So, you would not want anybody to call you anything outside of, a name of something that you do not like. So don't do it to other people's. Okay. Especially not when you call them Big Back Cadillac. I mean, it just sounds funny to me when I say it. So y'all gotta forgive me. Because it's just such a off the chain response to like some stuff that happened to y'all like 80 years ago. Okay. You know, y'all not gonna take me out of here with that Big Back Cadillac comment, because Big Back Cadillac is not nothing nice. Okay. So don't run around here calling nobody Big Back Cadillac if you don't want nobody to say nothing to you. Okay. No more Big Back Cadillac. No more. We are done. We are done. Done. Okay. You hear me? We are done with the Big Back Cadillacs. Now, let's get into this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right. And we are diverting from Big Back Cadillacs to the Grenada. Okay. And if I had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, it's difficult now because it's almost like one of those situations when a cast member has quit, or when that they are likely to never return again. It's almost like, oh, this is all a moot point at this point. You know what I'm saying? But as it is my job to talk to you guys about what the go on is for the episode, we got to talk about it, right? Because we know that Brit is suing the network for 20 millions. All right, that's some Big Back Cadillac right there. That is some Big Back Cadillac money right there. All right, and some kitten heels. All right, so anyway, I digress. I can't go live. I cannot go live. All right, so it sometimes makes the episode like, oh my God, like, what are we even talking about? The girl's not even there no more. So you almost got to take away a point for that, right? I felt like this episode was a good mix of highs and lows. This episode to me highlights the issues that I feel like I have sometimes with Shamea. Now, this is not me saying, oh my gosh, she shouldn't be on the show. No, it is a natural occurrence of a problem that I would have with any housewife who does this. Okay. I like Shamea for this show. I think she's figuring out her groove, but for her to have introduced us technically to Brit, I just kind of feel like there's some element of like, you don't really like her all that much. And I don't know what that's what it gives to me, but I could be wrong. I feel if I had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 8. Let us know what you would give it on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it an 8. Solid 8, it is what it is. I cannot look at 7.2410. Oh God. That is sending me. Let's talk about the passive aggressiveness of it all. We got love from the UK. Hey, I see you. For me, Shamea, I don't know where to start. I'm going to just keep it to the episode, because if I go into a deep dive of the entire season of Shamea, that's going to be a rabbit hole. So I don't want to go there. I want to take it based on tonight's episode. The callback to this episode is really whether or not Britt donated enough to the cause. All right. Britt was the first to donate, apparently. They weren't given necessarily an amount to donate. They weren't given many instructions. I'm assuming, right? Perhaps. So she went off of what she felt like she either had on her at the time, or I'm not sure what went wrong. Now, when I saw her donation box, I did feel like, oh, that was a little scarce. I mean, especially in lieu of what we saw with everyone else. But it does say if this crazy thing about it was she said she's the first to donate, but we saw other boxes and stuff there. So I don't know if that was filmed out of order. I don't know what the go on was, what that was. My problem with Shamea is this, though. If you took her out to dinner separately, immediately following whatever her donation amount was, and you and Kelly had maybe talked about, girl, she didn't really donate that much. If you took her out privately as a friend to tell her that she didn't donate that much, then it would seem to me that your intention is that you're trying to educate her behind the scenes about what she should do and what she should not do, and what is going to look good for somebody who is walking around with a Birkin and a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or some such thing, right? So you cared enough about her in that moment to say, hey, girl, I'm going to take you to the side and we're not going to have this conversation on camera. Only for you to then get to Grenada and then make passive aggressive remarks about said donations and then act as though you aren't talking about her when she catches your strays that you're sending out there anonymously, right? So she caught your shade, likely because you did sit down with her. So if your intent was to keep that issue that you had with her private, about her donation amount, then you should have left it off camera. But if the thing was that you were going to bring it to camera, then you probably should have had that conversation with her on camera. Otherwise, you sitting there with Kelly acting as though you're not talking about her when you in fact are talking about her donation amount is ludicrous to me. So just own it at this point. Period. Own it. Because your point could be valid. Your point could be valid. Now, granted, Shamea is rich, okay? Everybody ain't gonna be able to donate like Shamea. And we get it. We get it. So I just feel like, Shamea, yes, you are blessed. But if you know the girl ain't either A, got it like that, or maybe she does got it like that, and you feel like she ain't do enough, then simply ask her, hey, I just kind of want to follow up and say, we want to get you to donate what's equivalent, like to what everybody else is. Now that we've kind of seen what everybody's bringing in, I want to let you know, right, that you might want to donate more. Because otherwise, when people are given to charity, you really can't police how much they do. To be quite frank with you, if there's an expectation amongst the group, everybody's given $1,000. Kind of like what they quasi did with the Met Gala. Okay, but even that failed. This is everybody's going to donate $1,000, right? My next issue is a little bit with Kelly, because Kelly, you could have also had a conversation with her as well, because now you're airing out your BFF in front of everybody, which sometimes to me, this is why it feels like I want to call Kelly Ride Along, right? Was that a Kevin Hart movie? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like Kelly kind of just rides along, right? She'll ride along, I think, with whomever it has the perceived. This is what it looks like. So I hope Kelly becomes aware of this. It feels like she is Kevin Hart to whomever else is the bigger star. And what I mean by that is versus having a conversation with Brit, if that's your BFF, it seemed like she just ran over to Shamea's side because Shamea's obviously more popular. And I'm sure she naturally gravitated to her. But then to call Brit out like that in front of the group, it wasn't given like, oh, BFF anymore. This is given, I've got a new BFF and you're on the outs, girl. Sorry. You know, I mean, it's every new girl for themselves, and I gotta attach myself to somebody who is solid here. Okay. And I hate to say that for Kelly because I do feel like Kelly has so much to offer. But again, the ride along behavior is like, to me, I feel like that's been the case much of the season. I don't know. And I don't feel like it's just me, because I feel like some of y'all see it too. And I'm just kind of like, okay. This is like something. The other issue that this episode kind of starts with is the ladies are kind of gathering around to start the episode off. And, you know, we learn that Britt has thrown up the night before, you know, from drinking shots or whatever like that. And there is some discussion or discord with Shamea and Britt, not only about the donation thing, but also about when Britt had the little stone, the little crystal, and she was telling people about, okay, this is what I have to say about whatever it is. Now, granted, what Britt was saying really ain't amount to much about anything. Phaedra's not married to Apollo. They're actually rooming together. So it would have made more sense for that conversation to happen amongst the two of them in private. And the fact of the matter is that Apollo did not even show up at said event. So it kind of was nonsensical. But at the end of the day, that's not for you, Shamea, to police. Like, you're not, I mean, you weren't even the person that came up with the idea for the crystal. So again, it's like, how do you seem to have a bigger issue with Britt than what you're letting on. And I feel like you should just address that issue. All right. Granted, Britt has her own issues, and sometimes she's really, really defensive when she doesn't need to be. But I kind of now am getting a better understanding, because as I watched Shamea and Britt at the table, to me, I felt like Shamea was gaslighting Britt into trying to make it seem like Britt had a problem. And when Britt is addressing you and you feel like, oh my God, I don't want to be addressed about this because I didn't really call you by name. But girl, you are talking about her and we know it. So to then make it seem like Britt needs to pipe down, no, girl, you just shaded the mess out of her in front of this whole table about her gift giving. So when she addresses you, own it. Stand 10 toes down in what you just said, because what you said was really about her, and you know that. So to act like it's not is like really not what I would see for Shamea. I was going to be thinking that Shamea would be somebody that would be like, no, yeah, girl, I'm talking about you. And then, you know, the girl is throwing up and puking. So if she don't want to take no more of your shots, girl, then she don't want to take no more of your shots. Like, I don't want at this age, I don't really want a shot. I will take a shot sometimes if somebody is like super like, oh my God, aggressive with it. But I was sitting with somebody the other day and they were like, you know what? I don't take shots if I do not like, because they just don't work well for me. I don't want no shots. It's like Nene. If I don't want a dildo, I don't want a dildo. Okay. And you can't make me want a dildo. Okay. If the woman don't want a dildo, she don't want a dildo. Period. The dildo is making her sick. How about that? Leave her alone about the dildo. That's a Nene reference for those of you guys who might have missed it. Sorry. All right. In that moment, it always sticks out in my mind. It will always stick out in my mind when somebody is trying to make somebody have something and then they don't want it. Okay. So there's a bit of controversy and chaos surrounding that. You know, the ladies, they split up. You know, I don't know how many times also Phaedra, Kelly's gonna let Phaedra call her a garden gnome to her face, to her facial. Girl, she is calling you a garden gnome to your facial. And I know it's supposed to sound cute and feisty, but I don't really know that Phaedra's that much taller than garden gnome. Like, you know, like why would you? I I would be like, girl, don't call me no garden gnome. You call me a garden gnome one more time, we gonna have a problem. Period. Okay, because it don't sound sexy, and I'm sexy. And you call me garden gnome one more again, and it's gonna be me and you on the flow. I mean, think about it. Y'all gonna let somebody call you a garden gnome from somebody that's standing right at equal at eye level with you? No, ma'am, ma'am. You and me, we are here. We see each other. Why? Because we at the same place in life. 5'5", 5'2", 4'9", 3'7", whatever you is. If we are on the same level and we see eye to eye, girl, you is not calling me a garden gnome. Because if I'm a garden gnome, you are a garden gnome too. Okay. So unless we gnoming it up together and you are professing that you two are a garden gnome of the of the plant variety, then girl, come on with it. But you call me a garden gnome one more again and you the same size as me? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, Pam. No, ma'am. That goes for Phaedra and the racist monkeys. Meanwhile, so the one group is going to the waterfall. That's the Shamea, Porsha, Cynthia, and Phaedra, the OGs, right? They're going to, you know, plus Shamea. And the new girls, plus Drew, are going to go cook. Now, the conversation in the car is kind of going to piss me off a little bit because the conversation in the car is definitely about Brit and how much she should be donating. Now, Phaedra does come up with a cute amount of like, okay, we at this level should be donating at least $1,000. I would say you probably want to preface that beforehand, but you know, it's neither here nor there at this point. But you know, Phaedra and Porsha are very much team Shamea in the car about how much Brit should be donating. But baby, when you watch that after show and Phaedra and Porsha are sitting with Brit, it is a completely different story. It is like, oh girl. I mean, if you didn't know how much to donate, you didn't know how much to donate. Oh my goodness. That doggone Shamea. Oh, I mean, and I was like, the tables have really turned because literally in the episode, if you watch the after show, they will flash back to what they said in the in the actual car to what they said in the after show, and they are two complete different things. Two completely different things. So to Shamea's face, they were saying one thing, but now to Brit's face, they are saying a complete different thing. And I'm like, well, which one is it? Why don't y'all stand 10 toes down on what y'all really think and feel? Because that's not what y'all was saying to Shamea in the car. In production, and it won't that won't my memory. That was production's flashbacks. So tell us how you really feel. Frickin' frack. Which one is it? I'm just curious. I'm just curious because I'm trying to keep up with the story. I am just following the story as it is being told. Period. Meanwhile, the other car, they are going to go cook some food or something like that. I would have rather been at the waterfall, to be honest with you. But I do like some food, so it is what it is. I just don't feel like cooking it while I'm on vacation. I've done that before, but I don't really want to do it. You just have bring the food to me and let me have good vibes. Let me go do good fun things. Right. So but so at brunch, they do question Drew about whether or not she is dating Black of the Black Smoke variety. And she says, no, they are just friends. But if she were, she would be sitting on top of the mountaintop or the hill, letting us know. Don't believe that either. I don't believe that Drew would actually let us know who she's dating until after her divorce. Because I don't think she feels like it's prudent for her to be seen as dating someone until she is divorced, which I would be able to respect. Hey, my boo. Hey, boo thing. I would be able to respect that a lot more if there weren't all these extra rumors about you being with Ty, about now you being with Black Smoke, or who, if that's the guy. Let me put the alleged badge up here. Like, all of these things keep coming out about you that everybody keeps saying, cut from cousin Courtney to Ralph to Mimi Faust to Ming. It's so many people. So that to me is like, I can receive what you're saying. To be honest, I can, because I get it. I think it's noble. I think that that's what most people would want to do. But if your reality is that you're actually out here really dating as you guys are separated and getting like a legally separated and getting a divorce, then girl, get your groove on and just be honest about it. Like that's it to me. Like you are not proving yourself to be saved and sanctimonious to me by doing that, right? Just be real about it. If that's what you're doing, then that's what you're doing. You guys at this point in time are getting a divorce. You've already told us on the radio about Ralph and the woman in the basement, right? Now, for me, the man is already doing his thing. Why don't you just go ahead and be out front and honest with what you're doing? If not, and I get it too, y'all might not be official. You might not want to tell nobody his business or Ty's business, because sometimes some of that is somebody else's business to tell. But because there are so many people and so many stories about you, I don't know. Please stop saying stuff like this. Like that just it hating what? Who has time to hate? And I hate that your name is Baby, because now I got to block you. And I don't want to block Baby. Okay, I'm gonna leave Baby alone. Hating what? What do I hate? I don't hate it. That's the craziest. It'd be why do I? You know what? My name is Tamar, and I am on a healing journey. Poof! I'm better. Ta-da! Okay, so listen, she might be smarter than all of us, right? At the end of the day, but the problem is, do you believe her? Okay, that is the question. All right, y'all. I hold on for 1 second. I got to let the person in to fix the TV. So y'all hold on one good second. I'll be right back. I hate to do this, y'all. But the person is here, so hold on. And so listen, life is gonna life, y'all. Life is gonna life, and things happen. But we back. Whew. All right. Ain't nothing like a little commercial break, y'all. Nothing like a little commercial break. Get the book if you ain't got it already. All right. And then leave a review. Now, But with the whole Drew situation, I just kind of feel like it's so much evidence out there that I would just kind of be like, yeah, you know what? I'm getting to know people. I'm talking to people. I'm trying to get my groove back on, but to always act like, oh, I'm just waiting, until the divorce is final. Girl, this divorce will be lasting for as long as Kenya and Marks. I don't know why y'all can't let it go. I don't know why Ralph can't let it go. I don't know why y'all can't just say, you know what? Let's just end it. You take whatever you need. I'm gonna take whatever I need. And hopefully we meet each other in the middle. But I ain't never been divorced. I don't want to be divorced. So I can't really say how fast something should go or not. All I know is, girl, it's too much information out there about you in terms of who the people say you're dating and not dating, for it to not be at least somewhat true. I don't know. That's just me. But neither here nor there. The girls get back to the house. Angela is trying to reach Charles. Angela and Charles, right? I don't know what to think about the two of them. I feel like Charles is he's just don't be in the mood for TV. That's what I feel like. I feel like he don't be in the mood for TV. And that's what it gives me. I don't want to see it and I did notice this. Phaedra was talking about how she didn't really know Charles to be married, but she also said she knew Charles from 10 years ago. If Charles and Angela were married 8 years ago, then that would also explain why Phaedra doesn't know of Angela. But to be honest with you, it's interesting to me that if Wendy Williams knows of Angela, how does Phaedra not know of Angela? I don't know. That's just me, but I can't. Ooh. He does give you a little bit of that Kelsey grammar like, you go ahead and do your thing, girl. That's that. I don't know. It's just an interesting situation, and I just be feeling like I don't feel like he want to be on camera. Either that or maybe he don't know. He don't care. I can't really decide. Y'all have to let me know. Then it's time for dinner with the prime minister. At this point in time, Brit becomes the topic du jour, and she becomes the topic du jour because Shamea brings it up. And she has to guess, all right, you're talking about me. So, all right, let's get into it. So they get into it, and then Brit wants to know, does anybody else have anything to say? So Porsha chimes in and is like, well, you say you don't feel supported, but we don't really know much about you, and you haven't invited us to your home. And it gets into this whole group message with Porsha not knowing who Brit was. I feel like the issue with Brit and the not feeling supported, I really would say probably boils down to the Kenya versus Brit of it all. And I don't really want to go back down that road because I just kind of feel like it's a road to nowhere at this point. We know what the outcome is. We know where everybody stands. We know that Brit is not going to be back on the show. I don't know what's going to happen with Kenya at this point now. So we've got a $20 million problem on our hands. So the two of them bickering about who has invited whom over to whomever's house is really, it's a good point, I guess, that Portia's bringing up, maybe, but it was hard to receive the point from Porsha when it's like, to be honest with you, Porsha really can't invite anybody filming over to her home for a filming session at this point because we know why. So, ergo, that's why Porsha hasn't invited you over to her home. There we go. But I do think that the best use of Phaedra in this episode Was Phaedra telling Britt in the car, if you are going to survive in this group, you have got to show yourself friendly. And you got to stop being so defensive. And you have got to have some charcuterie and champagne when the girls come over. This was the best use of Phaedra thus far. I mean, and I felt like Phaedra had some bass in that voice when she was talking to Britt. But I felt like she was giving Britt some sage advice, so much so that when they got back to the house after Gerald called Shamea about what was going on with their child, which we do send prayers up for, I felt like this was a different Britt. Britt was almost preaching to Shamea. Girl, I will take this shot with you. Where is that dildo? Okay. She said, I will take it. Give it to me. Give it to me now. Somebody just pour it down my throat. And for extra emphasis, I will show you all my chesticles. And it was like Brit 1.0 and Brit 2.0. Okay. I just felt like at that point, it was like she went a little OD with it. I ain't gonna lie. But at least she was trying. At least she was trying. Now, she was definitely OG with it. OD. It was too much. It was team too much. But I felt like she was working hard to correct the ship after Phaedra had that conversation with her. And I can't hate on the fact that she chose to try to course correct. I think she could have done it more smoothly. But at the end of the day, I just, it just read as too much on the TV, So that was pretty much the episode. I mean, it was interesting. And here's the thing about the Shamea situation. I want people to understand it. I don't think that because Shamea makes missteps on this show that she should be fired. All right. I don't think that. I'm not of that school of thought, right? With a lot of new school, I feel like fans, they will be quick to call for somebody to be fired. When back in the day, if somebody annoyed us, they just annoyed us and we kept it moving. So I think that the whole point of this show, as I often state, is that usually everybody's right and everybody is wrong. And that is actually real life, right? Whether or not it feels staged or not, whether you believe a person or not, the point of the matter is when we watch these shows, we're watching for some hot mess. And when they deliver hot mess, we can't be mad about it, but we can't talk about it. But is the hot mess enough of a mess or entertaining enough for us to keep watching? That usually becomes the question, right? Because there's a fine line of hot mess. There's hot mess, and then there's, that went real left real quick to a place where I feel uncomfortable. And then the majority of the crowd, the audience feels uncomfortable. I don't think we've gotten there yet with Shamea. She's done some crazy things that I really don't quite understand. I think a lot of that is residual efforts to support Porsha, and in doing so, she has found herself in some crazy looking situations. But that doesn't mean that because she has made those missteps that she should be fired. I hate when I see people say stuff like that because I just feel like that's unnecessary. You gotta walk with these people through their experiences because they're not going to be perfect. Period. And that's that. All right. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it does require that you have a bit of like nuance to understand that we're watching a show, right? And when your favorite character or somebody that you have a high expectation from doesn't fulfill that expectation, all of a sudden they got to go. No, that's not how this works. And that's not what makes a good show. But then that's what also makes the show feel toxic when everybody is screaming for somebody to go because of a mistake that they made, right? So let's see where they go with it, you know? Let's see where they go. Yeah, you know, just they're gonna make mistakes, they're gonna mess up, I mean, that's a part of the course. That's a part of that's a part of it all. This season, y'all will hate a person. We all might, right? Well, not hate, because I think Baby proves a point that like nobody's like we don't have to call it hate, but we may not like a person so much that it brings us to tears sometimes when we see them on camera. But the next season, you may like them completely differently. So it's just a season per season thing. So anyway, that's all the tea that I got for y'all for right now. No more big back Cadillacs for us, you know. Not even like you don't even get in a Cadillac. No shade to Cadillacs, okay? No shade to Cadillacs. Just maybe don't get in a big back Cadillac. I don't know what that looks like, but just don't do it, okay? Don't do it. All right, y'all. I need to go downstairs and figure out what's going on with this TV. So, with that being said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell button, and I will catch you guys in the next video.